In the last part, we have discussed about three of the very basic sorting algorithm, right? That includes bubble sort, selection sort, and insertion sort. In this part, we are going to discuss the sorting algorithm, uh, which are based on the divide and conquer algorithm designing technique. Okay, so that basically includes merge sort and quick sorts. Okay, so first we are going to see the merge sort algorithm. Again, in this part also we are not going to see the algorithm or pseudocode version because you already know those things. We are just having a review of these algorithms. Okay. So as you know that since merge sort follows divide and conquer paradigm, and any divide and conquer algorithm have three parts, right? So the first part is divide, where we divide the problem into smaller similar sub problems, right? Next part we have conquer, where basically we recursively solve those sub problems, smaller sub problems, and finally we have the combine step, where basically the solution of the sub problems are combined to find out the solution of the original problem. Okay, so in divide and conquer, in merge sort, in the divide step, what we are doing, we are basically splitting the array into two sub-arrays of equal length. Okay, so we are basically having dividing the array into two equal parts. Okay, left part and right part, you can say. So in the conquer step, we basically recursively sort those two part or those two sub-arrays using merge sort. So we recursively call merge sort on those two parts, which eventually break or divide the left sub array into again two equal halves, and right sub array into again two equal halves. Okay, and that they will going to do until a single element is found as a subproblem. And now once a single element is found as a subproblem, a single element array is nothing but it is already sorted, right? Because that is trivially sorted. So those element, once we reach in the level where all the subproblems have single element, we have basically conquered the part. And next what we have to do, we have to find out, we have to do the last step, which is basically combine, where what we do, we combine the solution of the subproblem to find out the solution of the original problem. So in merge sort, what we have those two sorted array, right? Because we have already using in the conquer step, in the left sub array and right sub array has been sorted using the recursively using merge sort. And next we have to do the merge operation, right? So in merge operation, what we have to do, we have to combine the left sub array and right sub array into the single array, which will be basically sorted. Okay, so as you know that the merge operation of merge sort algorithm is heart of this algorithm. Okay, so we are next looking into the merge operation. So how merge operation works? So in merge operation, we compare the first element of both the both the sorted arrays. So as I told you that in the merge operation we have two sorted arrays, the left part and the right part, and while we are merging them, we are basically comparing the first element of both the sorted arrays. Okay, and it means that we are comparing the smallest element of both the part. Okay, now whichever is smaller in that part, we put that into the output array. Okay, so we compare the smaller element, first element of both the sub arrays left and right, and the smaller one we are putting it into the output array. Next what we do, we redo the process excluding the selected element until one of the arrays is fully exhausted. So suppose if we are comparing these two first element of these two parts, then we found that the first element of the right sub array is smaller. So what we'll do, we'll take the first element of the right sub array and put it into the output array. Now we'll redo the process, but we'll exclude the first element of the right sub array. We'll rather consider the right sub array from its second element. Okay, so next what we'll do, we'll basically compare the first element of the left sub array, and now the first element in the remaining part of the right sub array, or the second element of the right sub array. Okay, so we'll compare that again. So whichever is the smaller, we are going to put it into the output array and exclude that one, and we will continue this process. Now, if you try to imagine, you will understand that in this process, one of the sub-arrays, left or right, is going to be exhausted first. Okay, both of them cannot be exhausted at the same time. Okay, so one of them has to be exhausted first. Then the other part will have some element as a leftover, right? So what we have to do with those leftover elements, we have to put those remaining elements of that non-empty array or non-empty subarray into the output array. So we are comparing the smaller element from both the subarrays. We are putting it one by one into the output subarray, and at some point of time we found that one of the subarrays got exhausted. There are no elements left in one of the subarrays, but there will be there has to be some elements in the other subarray. Okay, so what we have to do next, we have to copy them one by one from that subarray to the output array. Okay, and this will complete the merge operation. So if you look at this example, here the merge operation is done. So suppose there are 4 subproblems, and on the first part we are doing the merge operation. So first 1 will come, then 3 will come, then 5 will come, then 6 will come. Okay, now in the second two halves, what we'll have is 7 and 2 compared, 2 will come, 7 and 4 is compared, 4 is come. Now you can see that the 7 and 8, that array is remain, right? So we'll just copy that from there to output array. Now if you take in these two part, so first 1 will come, then 2 will come, then 3 will come from the left side array, then 4 will come from the right side array, then 5 from the left side array, then 6 from the left side array. Now at this point 7 and 8 in the right side array, but left side array has got empty, right? So what we have to do, we have to copy those 7 and 8 from the right side array into the original array. Okay, so this is how the merge sort is done. Okay, so this slide will be shared with you, so you can have your time to watch this animation fully for all those algorithms. Okay, so merge sort again is comparison sort, because all the elements the sorting is done by comparing the elements of the value of the elements of the array, right? But it is out of place sort. So this is the first out of place sorting algorithm that you are looking at. So now see, if you remember the algorithm, what we are doing when we are merging the two parts, right, left subarray and right subarray, what we are doing, we are putting the smaller element into an output array, right? So we are having an external array where we are basically placing the element one by one. So we are basically taking help of external memory or extra memory, which are comparable to the input array. Okay, which are comparable to the size of the input array. Okay, so that's why this merge sort is nothing but an out of place sort. Okay, and again it is a stable sort, means the relative order of the duplicate elements is going to be maintained after sorting as well. Now in merge sort again, like in selection sort, there it is same. Okay, the time complexity is same irrespective of the initial arrangement of data. So even if you give an already sorted array into a merge sort algorithm for n elements, it is going to take exactly same time if you are giving the array the input data as a reverse or inversely sorted array. Okay, in that case also it is going to take the same amount of time. Okay, so irrespective of whatever your data, whatever initial arrangement of the array, the time complexity of merge sort is going to be the same. So there will be basically no best case, worst case, or average case. Whatever input data will give, it will work. It will work in the same way. Okay, and will take the same amount of time for same size of input array. Okay. Now, since merge sort is a divide and conquer algorithm, so we can have a recurrence relation that will denote the number of operations required to perform the merge sort on L elements. Okay, and that recurrence relation is given by this one. So what it is, we have Tn is equals to 2t n by 2 plus theta of n. So let me explain this one by one. So what Tn means? Tn means the number of steps or number of operations that are being performed when we are doing merge sort on n number of elements. Okay, or the array size of n. Now how the merge sort is performed? So merge sort divide the array of n size into two equal parts, that is n by 2, right? and apply merge sort on those equal parts, right? So the equal parts is nothing but the n by 2. We'll have n by 2 elements. So merge sort on those n by 2 elements is going to take t of n by 2 elements. Okay. Now, since there are two parts and on both of them merge sort is going to be applied, okay, so there will be twice t of that number of operation will be twice t of n by 2. Okay. Now, how this theta of n is coming? Now, once you have done this, once you divide it and conquer it, finally you are doing what? You are merging that solution, right? So in that merge operation, what you do is scan through the left half and right half, right? And finally combine those into a single output array. So scanning those two parts and putting them into output array is taking your order of n or theta of n time. Okay, so this is how the relation, this is how the recurrence relation of merge sort is, and the explanation behind this relationship. Okay. Now, if you solve this relation, if you solve this recurrent relation, you will find that the time complexity of merge sort is nothing but theta of n log n. Okay, so there are numerous ways that we have learned in the course of design analysis of algorithm to solve the recurrence relationship. So you can apply any of those ways, like recursion tree, like the iterative method, like Master's theorem. So you can apply any of them, and you can reach out to this conclusion that the time complexity of for this reconciliation, if you solve it, is going to be theta of n log n. Okay, so it means that the time complexity of merge sort is nothing but order of a theta of n log n. Okay, so with that we come to an end of merge sort. Now we are going to discuss about the quicksort. So again, the quicksort is following the divide and conquer paradigm, right? So in the divide part, what the quicksort do? In quicksort, what we do, we find a pivot element, right? And that pivot element is going to divide the array into two parts. Okay. Uh, Now, unlike merge sort, in quicksort, the two part which are divided by the pivot element can be of unequal length. Okay, can be of different length. In merge sort, we have two parts with equal length, but here the pivot element will divide the array into two parts that may be in equal length, but may not be in equal length as well. Okay, so in quicksort, the divide operation is done using a pivot element, which basically divides the array into two parts. Now, how the division is done? The pivot element is dividing the array into two part or two partition, such that all the elements in the left partition is going to be less than or equal to the pivot element, and all the elements in the right partition is going to be greater than the pivot element. Okay, so here is the catch for the quicksort. So what it is doing, it is finding an pivot element such that which divides the which partition the array into two part. In the left part, all the elements are going to be less than or equals to the pivot element, and in the right part, all the elements is going to be greater than the pivot element. Okay. Now, in the conquered step, what we do, we recursively solve the left part and right part using quicksort. Okay, so how it is done in the conquered step. See, what we are having here. When we are trying to find out a pivot element, so when we find out a pivot element and we place it in a way that all the element in the left is less than equals to the pivot element, and all the element in the right is greater than the pivot element. It means in the sorted array, uh, the pivot element, I mean, we are placing the pivot element, or pivot element is dividing from in a position where it should be when the array is sorted, right? Because see, when the array is sorted, all the elements to the left is going to be less than or equal to that pivot element, and all the array, all the element to the right of this pivot element has to be greater than the pivot element, right? So when we are dividing in the quicksort, when we are finding out the pivot element, we are placing the pivot element in a position where it should be when the array is sorted, right? So that is the catch for the quicksort. Okay, So next what we are doing, we are having the two parts, the left part and right part. The pivot element is already placed in its correct position. Okay. So now in the left part we are again finding out the pivot element. So what will happen there in the left part? So again it will find out the pivot element and place it in a position where it should be in the sorted array. Okay. Similarly in the right part also it will find out the pivot element and it will place the pivot element for the right part in a position where it should be in the sorted array. Okay. So in this way the quick sort works. It will basically in the conquer step, sorry, in the divide step actually it is doing the all the works. Okay. So here the divide operation or the partition operation is basically heart of this quick sort, where we are finding the pivot element and putting it in the position where it should be. Okay. And you can understand there will be no combined step required as it is an in place sort. First of all it is in place sort, and next is that in the divide step itself, the pivot element is getting placed to a position where it should be, right? So there will be no need for combining it. Okay. So this is how the quick shot works. Okay. Now again quick shot is a comparison shot because the quick shot is done by comparing the values of the element. Now in case of stability, quickshot is stable if we use the Lomoto partition, but quickshot is unstable in case of we are using Horst partition. So there are various partition algorithm available for quickshot, which you can use. Okay, in the divide step. Okay, so in the design and analysis of algorithm, we use the Lomoto partition because that partition algorithm is easy to understand, and uh, but the Horst partition is basically a bit efficient than Lomoto partition, and Horst partition find out the pivot element by comparing the element from both the end of the array. Okay, whereas in case of Lomoto partition we are scanning from one end, right, to find out the pivot element. Okay, so anyways, whichever partition method you are using, that will not affect the quick shot much unless until except its stability. Okay, so if you use the Lomoto partition, you are going to have a stable quick shot version, or if you are using Horst partition, then you will have the unstable quick shot version. Okay, so in this example, in this animation, the Horst partition is being shown. Okay, but I have already shown you in the design analysis of algorithm course that how the Lomoto partition works using some animation, right? So if you look at this algorithm, sorry, look at this animation, what it is doing. Let the animation begins from the beginning. So this is the initial part. Okay, now it is applying the Horst partition. So it is basically comparing it from the both the end. Okay, so you can see that how it is doing. So since 2 is less than 3, so it is getting into the left part. Okay, next 5 and 7 is compared, and so okay, so let me leave it for you. So I will share this PPT again with you, so you can see with your time that how this partition is done. Okay, uh, coming to the time complexity of quickshot. Now quickshot performs the best when the pivot element always is the middle element. It means that quickshot it means that the pivot element is the middle element of the array for every recursive call. Okay, means so when you are when you are calling the quickshot for the very first time, it has to be the middle of the array. Okay, in the best case. Now it will divide it into two part, right? And now in that case, that is going to be exactly same length, or maybe difference of them will be at max one length. Okay. Now in both of them, what we have the pivot element again in the middle of those two parts. Okay. So in this way, if the array is arranged, then the quickshot is going to perform the best. Okay, so what will happen, so in the best case happen when the pivot is always the middle element in all the recursive call. So in that case, what will happen, in that case the the array, so let Tn be the number of steps or number of operations that are required by the quick sort, okay, to sort an array of size n. Now if the pivot element divides the array into the middle, so it will basically create an array which are almost n by 2 length, right? So so there will be two n by 2 length of arrays, which we are again calling on which we are again calling the quicksort algorithm. Okay, so for both of them, it is going to take t of n by 2 times. So eventually that is basically 2 into t of n by 2 times. Okay, for those two parts. Okay, and this order of n time is nothing but the time required to find out the pivot element, because we scan the whole array while finding out the pivot element and placing it in its right position, right? So this is what the recurrence relation for the best case is, and if we solve this recurrence relation, we are going to get the time complexity of order of n log n. Okay, now, for the worst case, quicksort performs worst when the array is already sorted in either way, whether it is sorted or inversely sorted. The worst case is going to happen. Why? Because in that case, whenever you are trying to find out a pivot element, the pivot element is dividing the or pivot element will divide the array into only a single part, which is one the size of which is one less than the original size. It means that the pivot element is going to be placed, selected in a way that it will be at the end or at the beginning of the array, and thus it will create a partition only of n minus 1 length, and in the other partition there will be no element. Okay, so there will be n minus 1 elements in a partition, and there will be 0 elements in other partition. Okay, so to solve short those n minus 1 elements recursively using quicksort, it will take t of n minus 1 times, right, as mentioned over here. Okay, and order of n again is the time for finding out the pivot element. So in this case also it will have order of n for finding out the pivot element. Okay, now if you solve this recurrence relation, you will find that the time complexity for this case is nothing but order of n squared. Okay, coming to the average case, or any other random array is nothing is average case. You can show the average case, you can find out the average case time complexity using two unequal partitions like 1 by 10 and 9n by 10, or or in a way that a best case happen, then a worst case happen, a best case happen, and the worst case happen, like that. So which I have already shown you in the design and analysis of algorithm course, right? So you can use those kind of analysis to find out the time complexity of average case is nothing but order of n log n. Okay, so this is the time complexity for the quicksort. So you can see that in the best case and in an average case, the quicksort takes order of n log n time, but in the worst case, when the array is already sorted, it is going to take order of n squared. Okay, so you can think it like that. There are so if there are n elements, right? So out of that, if there are n elements in that array, it means that there are n factorial way we can give the array can have its arrangement, right? And out of those n factorial arrangement, only two of them is providing you the worst case scenario, right? Which the first one is shorted and the second one is inversely shorted. Any other arrangement of those n factorial is going to give you an average case, which is basically n log n. So except those two cases where it is going to perform the order of n square time, it is generally taking order of n log n time. Okay, that's why quicksort is generally preferred over other sorting algorithm. You can also tell that merge sort or heap sort is also taking order of n log n time, but the constant factor in those algorithms, okay, you can understand that in merge sort we have to allocate is an external memory for placing them to and fro, right? So that will is going to take some time, which are again constant factor. So in those algorithms we are having higher constant factor as compared to quicksort. Okay, so that's why quicksort is generally preferred over other sorting algorithms. Okay, and the best of it, we can have a randomized version of quickshot, which we have also seen in the design analysis of algorithm course, where we have the expected time complexity of order of n log n, right? So in the randomized quickshot, what we have seen, that whenever we are trying to find out the pivot, we are basically finding it in a randomized way. Okay, we are not taking the same element again and again. I mean, element of the same position again and again. We are basically randomizing it. Okay, and that will not, give us nothing but the an expected time complexity of order of n log n. So with this, we have come to an end of the sorting algorithms that are based on divide and conquer design techniques. In this part, and in the next part, we are going to discuss about the heap sort, the only little, only part that is only sorting algorithm that is remaining uh, to end this lecture. Okay.